Hello, welcome to the Quantum Recovery Podcast. I'm your host, ANDEEARAE, and today I'm talking about something I'm super excited about. If you don't know this already, I am a circadian rhythm disruption ambassador. So on October 20th, the Circadian Rhythm Disruption Challenge or the CRD Challenge, is going to be launching. Now, this is really, really exciting and something that you will want to share with your family members and your friends, your neighbors, everybody that you know. I'm going to talk today a little bit about what the challenge is and what you will be doing in this challenge. And the people who founded this challenge a couple weeks ago on the Quantum Healthy podcast, we had Daniel White and Jeff Gibson on the podcast, and they are part of Quantumly Foundation, which was also founded by Lauren and Avi Jacobson. Now, these four individuals are launching this challenge on October 20th, and I'm going to share a little bit about, circadian rhythm has been in the news and just just a couple of things that are pulled here that I can shed light on and talk about what exactly is. I mean, we've been talking about this on this podcast. You should by now understand what circadian rhythm disruption is. So with quantum biology, we're addressing light, water, and magnetism. So this is under that light category, big time. And also under magnetism. It really touches all of the three, but we're not going to get into that today on how that does. But just know that this is wreaking havoc. Our modern world environment is wreaking havoc on our biology. And basically what circadian disruption is, it's the interference of our body's ability to tell what time it is outside, because we are living in a modern environment where we have all of this artificial isolated blue light exposure. Our bodies aren't knowing what time of day it is. In fact, this is even disturbing bird migration, because birds are seeing all these big lights in all these cities. They don't understand that it's nighttime outside. So this is a big deal. Now remember, we have our suprachiasmatic nucleus as that master clock that's behind our eyes, right? And that's taking in that light signal. So there is also on every single cell in your body a little clock, but it's governed by this big master clock. It's really important that we have the proper light exposure. You can go back and listen to my blue blocker episode if you like, but this challenge is literally shedding light on how we are disrupting, how our circadian rhythm is being disrupted by living in our modern world environment. Now, the challenge here is how to raise awareness and provide education and also generate funding for research. So that's the challenges challenge. And then the objective is really, it's a grassroots movement on how everyone can improve their circadian rhythm through a 21-day learning journey. So you'll get a school when you sign up, and there's a link in the description. You will get information on how to sign up for that school platform. That's what is starting on October 20th, is all of that information. And we also hope that you share your experience. What's happening now that you're blocking blue light at night? What are you feeling? We want you to be sharing this stuff and tagging the Circadian Rhythm Disruption Challenge. You can go and follow the CRD Challenge on Instagram. There are going to be 3 weeks of this, so 21 days. Now, the first week, you're going to understand light and managing that morning and evening light exposure. I've talked about this on this podcast before, so you're going to get a nice, beautiful review of that. And remember, this is free. You do not have to pay for this experience. The second week, we're going to be addressing malillumination. Think malnutrition, only malillumination. Okay. And going over daily UVA light exposure and also circadian meal timing. And in week 3, going to be developing a grounding practice and learning how to mitigate your evening technology exposure. Now, one of the things that I also want to point out is the purpose here. So the purpose is generating a global curiosity and a firsthand experience and demonstration on how simple this circadian health practices really are. And I also want to say, so about 10 years ago, you know, there was a challenge to raise money for, and I want to just point out that 0.009% of people worldwide are diagnosed with ALS. I believe that comes out to 9 people per 100,000. So it doesn't affect huge amount of the population. Now that's a devastating disease, so I'm not speaking down on it. My point here is that the challenge is pointing out is that 100% of people are susceptible to the impact of circadian rhythm disruption. There are a lot of diseases. I'm going to go over some things in a second here. So that is really huge. We do want this awareness to spread and hopefully raise money for the research that is needed. There is a lot of research. You can go on PubMed and look up the research about circadian rhythm disruption, but we need more. There needs to be more. We are in a epidemic of chronic disease, and our medical system isn't addressing chronic disease as like our medical system is basically really well set up to handle emergencies, and with chronic disease it's just like, a lot of putting medication on it basically, and it's not getting to the root cause of why these things are happening. Now, you can go back and listen to my podcast on mitochondria. You can listen to all the other past episodes. I've been leading up to all of this, what I'm talking about today. So we want to remember inflammation's happening in the mitochondria, and it really doesn't matter what chronic disease you're talking about. That is at the level of which the dis-ease is happening. So some of the things that have been highlighted in the news around circadian rhythm disruption. So CRD increases ovarian endometriosis in women. Also, CRD is very common among mental health disorders. CRD increases aging. It drives cardiometabolic disease. It increases your risk of cancer. It increases neurodegenerative diseases. It increases mood disorder. It increases metabolic syndrome. It increases depression in young people. Now, these are just like things that have been highlighted in the news. Now, I want to go over some of the circadian disruption and disease. So in babies and young children, there's impaired growth and development. There's irritability, mood swings. In teenagers and in young adults, we have fatigue. And remember, irritability, mood swings, and fatigue. So just to take a second with anybody in recovery from addiction, those are also post-acute withdrawal symptoms. Same with depression and anxiety. So with just those 5 things, if you are in recovery from the disease of addiction, our disease put us susceptible to circadian rhythm disruption. I know for certain that my circadian rhythm definitely was disrupted during my active use. I was not getting the right light exposure. In fact, I was up all night and I slept most of the day. And I think a lot of people are like that. And it doesn't matter what drug of no choice or drug of choice you were doing, your circadian rhythm was being disrupted. Now, there's a long list here of things. So in teenagers and young adults, we're seeing compromised learning, the mood swings, the fatigue, childhood obesity, excessive daytime sleepiness, ADHD, ASD, bipolar, depression, panic attacks, anxiety, fragmented sleep, irregular menstrual cycles, systemic inflammation, seasonal affective disorder, compromised fertility, GERD, colitis, obesity in middle-aged and older adults, heart diseases, colon cancer, breast cancer, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, Huntington's disease, miscarriages, septic shock, NAFLD, compromised immunity, glucose intolerance, ICU delirium, compromised fertility, rheumatoid arthritis, cardiac arrhythmia, insomnia, insufficient sleep, just to name a few things. This is really, really important to get to as many people as possible. I'm just one person. I'm just one ambassador of hundreds. And If you can share this episode, if you can share this information, if you can share the link, share it with as many people as possible so people have an awareness around how critical it is to get outside and get that natural light exposure, especially the start of the day. Not going to get into all the hows because this podcast is to raise awareness about what this is causing and getting people to sign up for this challenge so you have an understanding of the fact that this is a very serious and it's driving a lot of people's disease. And it, with those of us in the addiction recovery community, people have a lot of underlying health issues well into their long-term recovery, like I did. So you can tell here, I'm very passionate about getting this information out to people. It's what my whole coaching is based on. So this is very, very important for people to have an understanding of the fact that something as simple as changing your light environment could start helping you heal and helping you feel better. This is huge, you guys. It's absolutely huge, and I can't stress it enough how important it is to block blue light at night. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes. It's a link that was shared with me to get literally a pair of blue blockers that are $1.75. So Jeff, in the podcast we did and in Quantum Healthy, he shared with us the $2. They're actually $1.75, I think, because I ordered 15 of them and that was under $20. And this way I can hand them out as I talk to people about this. He tested those with a spectrometer and they will block the blue light. So you can get literally blue blockers for your whole family for under $15. So if you have a dozen people that you want, you're going to get it for that for $15. But I believe it was a dozen, they were $15. This is something I'm going to share in the show notes. So you have, and I'm not an affiliate of this brand. I don't remember what the brand is even, but they're basically safety glasses. You will put those on 3 hours before bedtime and just start to see how you feel. Start to see if you're sleeping better. We are challenging you and your family and your friends and your neighbors and everybody you know to take in this information, this free education, and start to see your life change with these small improvements. So I think I covered everything that I wanted to say about this challenge. And if you need, please contact me and I can share with you and any information. If you follow me on Instagram, you're going to see me sharing about this information. I've already been sharing about this information. I'm going to put links in the show notes for you to go ahead and sign up today. You can sign up for the challenge today. And then on October 20th, you will be able to get a hold of the education. And I gave you the week 1, 2, and 3 breakdown of what you'll be learning. It's going to be something that you'll want to share with people once you're learning it, because once you understand this stuff and you get exposed to it, you really can't unsee it. I believe that is actually a Rick Rubin quote. He says, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I've said that ever since I started learning this stuff. Like I couldn't turn away as I started to learn more and more about the effects that light has on our health. I just could not stop learning about it. So you may not get that into it, and that's okay. But learning the simple practices to better your health and your family's health and your children's health is huge. And these simple practices go a really, really long way. So I hope this was helpful today. This was a short episode, but I also want to just remind everybody that I have a quantum recovery reset course where I dive into the science and all of the things really, for everyone, but specifically those in recovery from addiction. And I make the connections between your healing process of the disease of addiction and all of the quantum biology, the applied quantum biology that we can actually take and use to help us heal. But having an understanding of that and a why really, really helps. And this circadian rhythm disruption challenge is only going to also enhance the knowledge that you already have by whether you're listening to my podcast or you're listening to other people in this space. It is just going to grow your knowledge because it helps that this stuff is repeated to us. It helps for us to not just to listen to one person share about it either. I encourage you, in fact, to look up other people that are in the quantum biology space and follow them and learn from them. Learn from as many people as you can. My focus is helping people in addiction recovery, but remember, this information is important for everybody and it applies to everybody, not just people in recovery from addiction. Everybody can use this information, and I've probably said that in every single podcast that I've done, but it's just really, really important. So share it with as many people as you can, and I hope to see it in the CRD challenge. All right, drink water. Have a good day. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found value in this information, and if you did, please share it. Another way to support the podcast is to leave a 5-star review. If you want to connect, you can message me on Instagram or email me at ANDEEARAE@outlook.com. And remember, drink water.